These next set of problems all deal with adding and subtracting fractions that have a common denominator. So before we start, there are 5 things that we have to remember. The first thing is the denominator of our answer must be the same as the denominator of the fractions we are adding or subtracting. The second thing to remember is when we add fractions, we only add the numerators, and when we subtract fractions, we only subtract the numerators. The fourth thing to remember is we always have to reduce the fraction to its lowest form after we perform the addition or subtraction. And finally, the fifth thing to remember is when the fraction is in an improper fraction, we have to convert it to a mixed number. So knowing these 5 rules, let's first start off with the first question. We have 4 over 7 plus 2 over 7. Now as we can see, they have the same denominator, so we just have to add the numerators. So we have 4 plus 2 all over 7. 4 plus 2 is 6, and then our denominator is 7, and as we can see, 6 over 7 is a proper fraction, so we don't have to convert it to a mixed number. So this is our final answer. Now let's move on to 3 over 5 plus 4 over 5. Again, we can see that they both have the same denominator, so we just have to work with adding the numerator. So we have 3 plus 4 all over 5. 3 plus 4 leaves us with 7, and then we're left with 5 as a denominator. As we can see, this is an improper fraction, so now we have to change it to a mixed number. First we see how many times does 5 go into 7, and 5 only goes into 7 once. So 1 is our coefficient out front. And then we have our fraction beside it with the same denominator as our improper fraction. And then to find the numerator, we take the numerator of our improper fraction, 7, and we subtract it by 5 times 1. So we're left with 7 minus 5, which gives us 2. So our final answer is 1 times 2 over 5. Moving on to the next example, we have 10 over 13 plus 8 over 13. Again, we can see they have the same denominator, so we just have to add the numerators. We have 10 plus 8 all over 13. 10 plus 8 is 18, and then we have the denominator of 13. And again, we can see this is an improper fraction, so now we have to change it to a mixed number. We see how many times does 13 go into 18, and 13 only goes into 18 once, so 1 is our coefficient out front, and then our fraction beside our coefficient has the same denominator as the improper fraction, and then to find the numerator, we take our numerator of our improper fraction, which is 18, and we subtract it by 13 times 1. So we're left with 18 minus 13, which leaves us with 5. So 5 is our numerator, and then our final answer is 1 times 5 over 13. Moving on to our final example, we have 23 over 25 minus 13 over 25. So again, we can see they have the same denominator, so now we just carry on with the subtraction. We have 23 minus 13 all over 25. 23 minus 13 is 10, and then our denominator is 25. Now this isn't an improper fraction, but we can reduce this down. Both the numerator and the denominator can be divided by 5. So divide the top and bottom by 5, and we're left with 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So our final answer is 2 over 5.